Hey kiddies, it's Triple Feature Tuesday once again, and this week, John Doe has the upper hand!
The heart's filthy lesson.
That's right, we're going to look at 3 movies in which the bad guy has arranged things so thoroughly, so effectively, that the good guys lose. There's just no getting around it. I mean, like in all of these movies, they sort of have like a, well, we sort of won because of this. Nope, you lost. You lost because every so often, even in the movies, the bad guy is just too good at what he does. Normally I'd go in order of increasing horribleness, but because if you ended on such an amazing down note, you'd end up killing yourselves. We're going to go in a slightly jumbled order than I would prefer. Our menu is going to include Seven, Oldboy, and The Dark Knight. I should warn you, there are going to be spoilers for all of these movies, but they have been around for quite some time. Seven's been around for 20-something years. Oldboy came out in 2003. The Dark Knight came out in 2008. So you should have seen these movies already, and if you haven't, skip the video, go watch the movies, and then come back to, hear me yammering about them, because I love our talks. Seven. This is where the phrase comes from. John Doe has the upper hand. John Doe is the bad guy of this film. Directed by David Fincher. This was his second feature film, and the one that put him on the map. I mean, as great as Alien 3 isn't, Seven is just astonishing. The look, the downtrodden tone of it, the performances. Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt as Somerset and Mills, respectively, are just incredible. Just different characters. I just love the dichotomy between the two. We got like race, we've got age, we've got worldview and everything, and just the reversals that happen all throughout the movie. It's just incredible. And at the center of all of this is the case. There is a serial killer going around murdering people by turning the 7 deadly sins ironically against people that he has judged to be committing the sins. And it all leads up to the end. John Doe, having committed 5 out of the 7 murders, creates a situation in which Brad Pitt has to kill John Doe. See, John Doe has committed envy of Brad Pitt's life, so he has murdered Brad Pitt's wife, the lovely Gwyneth Paltrow. And in case anybody's wondering, her head is what's in the box. So that's envy, and then when Brad Pitt kills John Doe, he will have committed wrath and then presumably be put to death by the state, and, there you go, you got your 7 deadly sins. It's incredible. The scene is so unnervingly tense because you don't know what's going on. All throughout the movie, John Doe has been 5 steps ahead. Not even 5 steps. He has been planning this for years, and in the case of the sloth murder, is 1 year in advance of the detective's efforts. There is no way they can outsmart him on this. And so, Brad Pitt is faced with a decision where he either plays into John Doe's hands and murders John Doe, or he has to live with not getting revenge on the man that killed his wife, the love of his life. He was high school sweethearts. He has loved her forever, and now she's dead because of this asshole. There's no winning. There's no winning in this movie. There's no right answer. I'm not sure there's a wrong answer to how you respond to it, but there is no possibility of a right answer. And that is why, after Morgan Freeman opens up the box that was delivered, screaming to everybody with ears, that John Doe has the upper hand. Because he does. Because he always had the upper hand. Because, it's not even a question of underestimating him. It's just, if you start out early enough, you can accomplish anything. And John Doe did that amazing piece of shit. Next up, we have Oldboy, which is, in fact, the best movie on this triple feature, but we can't end it in the triple feature on this movie because the people in your party will murder themselves because, oh my god. The centerpiece of Park Chan-wook's Vengeance trilogy, starting with Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Oldboy, and then, depending on the packaging, Lady Vengeance or Sympathy for Lady Vengeance. Oldboy is incredible. The premise alone is astonishing, where you meet Odasu, you don't even know what he actually did. He's just this guy in South Korea that got drunk on his birthday, and then got kidnapped, and then put in a hotel room, and then left in a hotel room for 15 years without any explanation. And then he was let out of the hotel room, given a phone, and the voice on the end of the phone says, "I did this to you. You have 5 days to figure out why." The answer, as it turns out to be, is that Lee Woo-jin's sister is not a slut. Cannot state this with more emphasis or concern, that all of you understand this point and never say anything to the contrary, because, the best case scenario is that you're put in a hotel room for 15 years with no explanation. The worst case scenario is what happens to Oda-soo, who has to figure all of this out and find out his connection to Lee Woo-jin and why Lee Woo-jin has done this to him. And by the time he does, he finds out something even worse about what Lee Woo-jin has done to him. I don't even know if I can say it. I can't even say it. It is something I don't like spoiling movies in general. I've spoiled movies on the triple features before because this is supposed to be an informative thing. But the gag at the end of Oldboy is too good to ruin. I mean, I don't want to say anything about it. It's just too amazingly perfect, and I don't want to rob anybody of that moment. The only thing more emotional than finding out what the gag is at the end of Oldboy is showing the movie to somebody that hasn't seen it, knowing it's coming, because the anticipation is incredible. Because the movie is so well done. I mean, the directing, it's got such an incredible look to it. The colors, the cinematography, it's just beautiful. And the characters are so compelling. Oda-soo, the girl that ends up helping him. And that is all. That would all be enough. But in the middle of this movie, there is a fight in a hallway with Oda-soo armed with a claw hammer, and about 25 guys. And they go from one end of the hallway to the other, and everybody beats the hell out of everybody else. And Oda-soo comes out, quote unquote, winning the fight. It's like he got out with his life, so there's that. But it is. I mean, the thing, I think they spent weeks choreographing the whole thing, because it just goes and it doesn't stop. There's no cutting, there's no changing of the camera angle. You're just watching all these guys try to beat up this one guy and failing, and just an incredible piece of violence that just makes you hurt so bad. And that's the middle of the movie. When you get to the end, you're going to want to kill yourself. Or, at the very least, stab out your eyes. I mean, I'll leave the choice up to you, but it is astonishing, and I can't ruin it for you outside of just saying that there is something coming, and you're not ready for it, because Lee Woo-jin has planned this out for like 30 years. I mean, that's the thing about all these. The bad guys, it's not that they're especially smarter than anybody else, it's just they started so much earlier. And our heroes are reacting to it. The bad guys get to be proactive and set everything up. And as a result, you just can't stop them. There's only so much you can do when somebody has planned a thing out so well in advance. And God, Lee Woo-jin spent his entire life and his entire fortune planning this out. And God, I don't even think he was happy at the end of it. God, Oldboy. Oldboy, man. And finally, we have Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, which, again, we put at the end. I mean, for equal parts, you don't want to end on an utterly depressing note with Oldboy. And also, Dark Knight's a tough movie to follow, because, one, it's fairly long, but really great. It's long, but, there's no time wasted on the movie. And also because it's just so great. Just the look, the action, the performance. Christian Bale's Batman is just completely on point. Gary Oldman's wonderful. Morgan Freeman popping up again. Michael Caine, Maggie Gyllenhaal, and Aaron Eckhart. Oh, the tragedy of Harvey Dent turning into Two-Face. And then there is, of course, Heath Ledger's Joker, which is just... I mean, I can't think of any time we've actually had like a really bad Joker, but, a certain movie coming out might prove me wrong. But there are certain Jokers that somehow elevate everything even further. And Heath Ledger's anarchistic terrorist Joker was just something to behold. And at every point, he is completely in control of everything that is happening and lying his ass off. I love that he's always playing everything off as, I don't know, I just do things. It's like, no, he doesn't. He has planned all of this out. That's the joke, is that you don't know what he is or why, and that is how he's going to destroy you and drive you insane, which he does. The Joker cultivates options throughout the entire movie because he can win in any number of ways. He can win with the boats. If they blow themselves up, great! They, haha, I was right about humanity, everybody is horrible, and they blew each other up. Okay, they don't blow each other up. Alright, I'll just do it myself, and hey, I just murdered a whole bunch of people, because that is what he likes to do. Or, hey, Batman stops him from blowing everybody up. We've established this pattern of Batman and the Joker fighting each other, so we're going to be doing this forever. Hooray! But then it gets worse, because Batman, not only do the people not blow themselves up, not only does Batman prevent them from, Joker from blowing them up, and not only does Batman stop from killing the Joker, thus ensuring more games in the future, Joker's already also got Harvey, the ace up his sleeve. Joker has driven Harley batshit insane, no pun intended, by murdering his girlfriend and, blowing up half of his face. And so Harvey is going around murdering people. He has driven the Gotham's shining bright knight into a monster, for thus proving his point, because Harvey, there's no redemption for Harvey at the end. He never, puts the coin down or puts the gun down. He is gone. And in that sense, the Joker has won. The Joker basically had no chance of losing. There were ways in which, Batman could foil certain aspects of the plan, but Joker was always going to win. And it got even worse with the way Batman and Commissioner Gordon tried to, salvage anything of it. They did not create any victory, as evidenced by the movie that we don't talk about. But even in this film, it's all about mitigating the damage. There's no actual victory to be had. And so once again, the bad guy has win. John Doe has the upper hand. John Doe has had the upper hand throughout this triple feature, and it's terrifying, but exciting. And so watch those movies, and I'll see you guys next week.